Expressions. Simplify expressions when multiplying and dividing. What are they? A sentence with a minimum of 2 numbers and at least one math operation. Why? Helps in finding unknown quantities. Interesting fact. Queen ants can live up to 30 years, the longest of any insect. Workers live for 1 to 3 years, while male drones usually only survive a few weeks. Here are the examples we're going to be dealing with in today's video. Let's take a closer look at example 1. Let's read the steps. Step 1, rearrange the terms. Step 2, combine like terms. Let's read the question. Simplify the algebraic expression 4ab times 3a. Now we can go ahead and drop the parentheses since none of the parentheses are being raised to a power of something. And now we're going to color code it, and we're going to add the multiplication sign. The reason why we color coded the different terms and added the multiplication sign is to make things a little bit easier to see. And so now we're going to rearrange the numbers and the variables using the commutative property of multiplication so that the like terms are next to each other. And now we're going to multiply the 4 and the 3 together to get 12. And now we have 12 times a times a times b. And now we're going to add the hidden exponents. So any number or variable, when they don't have an exponent, the hidden exponent is 1. And the reason why we're going to do that is so we can use the multiplication rule of exponents, and that is you just add the exponents. And so 1 plus 1 is 2, and now we have a squared. And now we're done with this question. We can just go ahead and get rid of the multiplication signs, and our answer is 12a squared b. Now let's take a look at example 2, where we have 3ab times 2a squared times the parentheses of 5b raised to the power of 2. So in this case, one of the terms is being raised to the power of something, so we can't just drop the parentheses. So let's go ahead and rewrite the parentheses of 5b raised to the power of 2 and rewrite it as 5b to the power of 1, so that we can then drop the parentheses. And we rewrite the parentheses of 5b raised to the power of 1 twice because of the exponent 2 in the original question. Because if we add 1 plus 1, it gives us 2. Now anything raised to the power of 1 is just itself, so we can go ahead and drop the exponent 1 to both of the terms, and now we can then drop the parentheses because none of the parentheses are being raised to a power of something. And so now we're going to go ahead and color code the different terms, add the multiplication sign, and rearrange them so we have the like terms closer together. And once again, that is the commutative property of multiplication. And now we're going to multiply the numbers together. 3 times 2 times 5 times 5 gives us 150. And now we're going to add that hidden exponent to that variable a and write that 1 so we can use that rule of multiplication of the exponents so that we can go ahead and add the exponents of 1 plus 2, that gives us 3. We're going to do the same thing to the variable b, add the hidden exponent of 1 to each variable so we can add the exponents using the multiplication rule of exponents. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, and that is our answer, 150 a cubed b cubed. Now let's take a look at example 3, where we have 8xy squared times 2y squared times 3x squared y in parentheses raised to the power of 4. So once again, we can't just drop the parentheses quite yet because one of the terms is being raised to a power of something. So we're going to take a look at that last term, and now we're going to rewrite it 4 times. Why 4? Because of the exponent 4 in the original question. Now we have a lot of numbers and a lot of variables, so this isn't really the best way of doing this, especially when your exponent is a really high number. So instead of doing that, we're going to use the multiplication, but specifically the product rule of exponents. We're going to basically distribute that exponent 4 to each number and variable inside the parentheses. So now we have 3 to the 4, x squared to the 4, and y to the 4. And now we're still not quite done yet because the parentheses are being raised to a power of something, so we can't just drop it. But now we need to use the power rule of exponents, and that is multiplying the two exponents together. And remember, the hidden exponents of 3 is 1, so 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 to the 4th power is 81. And if you look at the term of x squared, the exponent is 2, so 2 times 4 is 8. So now we have x to the 8th power. And now we have y. Remember that hidden exponent is 1, so 1 times 4 is 4. So that is why we have y to the 4th power. And now we can go ahead and color coordinate the different terms and rearrange them and add the multiplication sign, and so that we can see things a little bit better. And the rearranging is because of the commutative property of multiplication. So now let's go ahead and multiply the numbers 8 times 2 and 81 together. So we have 1296 times x to the 8th times y squared times y squared times y to the 4th power. And so now we're going to add that hidden exponent of 1 to that variable of x, so we can add the exponents using the multiplication rule of exponents. And so 1 plus 8 is 9, so now we have x to the 9th power. And for the y's, we don't need to add any hidden exponents, so we can go ahead and just add them. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8, so now we have y to the 8th power, and our answer is 1296 x to the 9th power, y to the 8th power. Now let's take a look at example 4, where we have 5x to the 4th power, y cubed all over 4x squared y. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and write it out. And so since we have x to the 4th power, we can write x 4 times, and y cubed, we can write it 3 times on the top. And on the bottom, we have x squared, so we can write x twice. And since y is by itself, we can just write 1y on the bottom. And now we're going to go ahead and cancel the variables x on top and 1 on the bottom, so we can simplify things. And we can do it one more time since there's 2 x's on the bottom. And so now we're going to rewrite what we have so it's a little bit easier to see. And we can do that because of the division rule. And so since we have 2 x's, or x squared, so sometimes you don't want to write out all the variables, especially if you have an exponent that's a really high number. So we can use the division rule, and that is subtracting the 2 exponents. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have 2 exponents of for the variable x. But as you can see, we have 2 x's. So that's why we can use the division rule. And now let's take a look at the variable y. We can go ahead and cancel one of the y's on top and one on the y's on bottom, and rewrite it so that we have 2 y's on top. Once again, that is the division rule. So we can go ahead and subtract the exponents of the variable y. And the one on top is 3, the one on the bottom is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. How many y's do we have? 2. So now we're going to add the hidden exponents just to show you what is happening. And we add the exponents for the variable x. 1 plus 1 is 2. And so we have x squared. Do the same thing for y. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we have y squared. So our answer is 5x squared y squared all over 4. Now let's take a look at example 5, where we have 4xy cubed all over 8x to the power of 5 y squared. So let's add that hidden variable. Let's add that hidden exponent to that variable just to see what's happening. And now we're going to color coordinate the different variables. And so we're going to rewrite it using the reverse of the product rule. We're going to cancel, and now we're going to rewrite it so we can see what we have. Now we have 4 x's on the bottom. So once again, that's the division rule. So we have 5 minus 1, which is 4, and we have 4 x's. Now let's go ahead and cancel the y's. So we can cancel 1, and cancel 1 more, and we can rewrite it so to see what we have. So we have 1y on top, and what is 3 minus 2? 1. And so let's go ahead, and now we need to simplify the numbers because both are multiples of 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. And now we can do 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And now we have 1y all over 2 x, 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 x. And we can rewrite that with the hidden exponents just to see what's happening. And now we can add the exponents. So our final answer is going to be y over 2 to the x to the power of 4. Now it is your turn, so go ahead and pause the video so you can take your time to answer these questions, and I will show you the answers in 3, 2, and 1. If you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there is always tomorrow.